Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new journey here on Hyperfocus. I'm Ollie. If you're new, awesome. We're new too, diving straight into the deepest, most challenging questions where science meets philosophy. And today we kick off a brand new 8-part series we're calling Quantum Mind, Beyond the Classical Brain. We're going on an expedition to the absolute edge of understanding ourselves, exploring one of the most radical, controversial, and potentially revolutionary ideas out there. The possibility that consciousness itself isn't just brain chemistry, but quantum physics in action. But first things first. Before we can even whisper the word quantum, we need to confront the beast itself, consciousness. That intimate, undeniable, yet utterly baffling feeling of being you. The redness of red, the sting of pain, the warmth of joy, the raw, subjective experience of existence. It feels like the most real thing in the world, doesn't it? Yet, paradoxically, it's the biggest skeleton in the closet of science and philosophy. This isn't just about how our brains process information, learn calculus, or dodge traffic. Those are what philosopher David Chalmers famously called the easy problems. Neuroscience, with its sophisticated tools, mapping neural circuits, understanding neurotransmitters, it's making incredible strides explaining the functions of the brain. How we see, learn, react, remember. We can build complex AI that mimics some of these functions incredibly well. But then there's the Everest of neuroscience, the hard problem of consciousness. The question isn't what the brain does, but why does it feel like something to be a brain doing those things? Where does the subjective inner movie, your private universe of sensations, emotions, thoughts, actually come from? How can mere physical stuff, neurons firing, chemicals flowing across synapses, intricate biological machinery operating according to the known laws of physics, give rise to the experience of being? The raw qualia? Think about the standard picture in neuroscience, the brain as a staggeringly complex biological computer. Neurons are often modeled as integrate and fire units. They receive signals, sum them up, and if a threshold is reached, bang, they fire off their own signal down the axon. Information processing, computation, algorithms running on wetware. This classical model has been incredibly powerful for understanding cognition and behavior. But does it explain feeling? Does a sufficiently complex algorithm, a detailed simulation of neuronal firing patterns, suddenly wake up and experience the blueness of blue? The classical model, brilliant as it is for the easy problems, seems to hit a conceptual wall here. It describes the mechanics, the information flow, the computations, but the subjective experience itself seems to slip through its fingers. There's an explanatory gap. Knowing how the neurons fire when you see red doesn't explain why it feels like red to you. It feels like comparing a detailed circuit diagram of a computer to the experience of playing a video game on it. The diagram explains the function, but not the feeling. This profound dissatisfaction with purely classical, computational explanations is what cracks the door open for, well, more radical ideas. If classical physics and standard neuronal models struggle to bridge that gap between physical processes and subjective qualia, maybe, just maybe, we need to look deeper. Perhaps the physics governing our brains isn't just classical mechanics and electromagnetism. Could it be that the very nature of subjective experience, perhaps even some aspects of human thought, that seem to defy simple algorithms, like genuine understanding or mathematical insight? An idea championed by physicist Roger Penrose, drawing controversially on Gödel's incompleteness theorems, which we'll definitely unpack later, requires something more? Something quantum? Now, invoking quantum mechanics when talking about consciousness is often met with immediate skepticism, and frankly, rightly so. It can sound like just swapping one mystery for another. Quantum magic, explaining brain magic. But the motivation here isn't just vague mysticism. It's a specific hypothesis that perhaps the known weirdness of the quantum world, superposition, existing in multiple states at once, entanglement, spooky connection between particles, the crucial role of measurement, might offer mechanisms fundamentally different from classical computation, mechanisms potentially capable of supporting the unique properties of consciousness. This leads us directly to the central focus of our entire Quantum Mind series, the highly specific, incredibly detailed, and yes, wildly controversial theory put forward in the mid-1990s by the brilliant mathematical physicist Sir Roger Penrose and the anesthesiologist and consciousness researcher Stuart Hameroff. It's called Orchestrated Objective Reduction, or Orch OR. Orch OR doesn't just wave vaguely at quantum effects. It proposes a concrete biological location and a specific physical mechanism. It claims that consciousness arises from quantum computations happening inside neurons, within intricate protein structures called microtubules, and it links these computations to Penrose's own speculative ideas about quantum gravity and the fundamental nature of space-time geometry. It's an ambitious attempt to bridge quantum physics, neuroscience, philosophy of mind, and even the foundations of mathematics. Let's be clear. Orch OR is not mainstream science. It faces intense criticism from physicists, neurobiologists, and philosophers alike. Its core claims are incredibly hard to test and push the boundaries of what we think is possible in the warm, wet, noisy environment of the brain. That interdisciplinary nature is both its potential strength, drawing insights from everywhere, and its Achilles heel, demanding validation across fields with vastly different standards and languages, inevitably leading to skepticism and communication breakdowns. But whether ultimately right or wrong, Orch OR forces us to confront the deepest questions head-on. Is classical neuroscience truly enough? Could quantum mechanics play a non-trivial role in the very fabric of our being? What are the physical correlates of subjective experience? That's the stage we've set in this first episode. We've identified the hard problem, the profound mystery of subjective experience that seems to elude standard explanations. We've seen why the classical brain as computer model might fall short. And we've introduced the motivation for turning towards the quantum realm, setting the scene for the specific, audacious proposal of Penrose and Hameroff. This series, Quantum Mind, Beyond the Classical Brain, will be a critical, evidence-based exploration of this frontier. We'll dive deep into the quantum physics needed, explore the proposed biological mechanisms inside microtubules, confront the fierce criticisms head-on, look at experimental tests, and weigh the implications. So, I hope you'll join me for this journey. We're a brand new channel, remember, so your engagement means everything. What are your initial thoughts on the hard problem? Do you think classical physics can eventually solve it? Let me know in the comments. Please subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next steps in this exploration. Next time, in Episode 2, The Quantum Turn, we'll dive into the essential quantum concepts, superposition, entanglement, measurement, and explore Penrose's fascinating argument using Gödel's theorem suggesting human minds are fundamentally non-algorithmic. It's where the quantum plot thickens. Until then, stay cruised, stay hyper-focused, and keep questioning the nature of your own mind.